Hello. Welcome in short, Mac. It's video games. Believe it or not. May have thought it impossible, but here we are. Yeah. It's gonna be... I've been productive, I feel like, personally. There's plenty more to be done, but we're definitely getting there. This shape is definitely all wrong. Plans have changed significantly on a lot of this stuff. But the general idea is still there. Which is something like that. Those are pretty much done on the general shape. The gimmicks are not done, but the general idea is there. So what happens after that, I don't know. This feels like it's going to be a very linear setup, as is. Willow! Where's the noise? There was supposed to be a noise. Twitch decided not to do it. Willow, thank you for the 16 months. Hello from mobile. Hi, Liari. Welcome in. Why is Twitch not doing the thing? Where is it? That's part of the notification alert. That should work. So I can delete this. I don't need the old trailer in here anymore. Remove that. Yeah, I don't know. Why? I've still got the extra lizards. They can go away. Oh, wonderful, Willow. That's good to hear. Our map is looking a lot more full than it was. I'm still not 100% on the overall layout of this zone. It's fine, I guess. But it's pretty dull. It feels very linear to just be like, go up an elevator. Elevator doesn't go up. You need more power, so you have to go into a side hall and then turn on more power and then come back. And the elevator goes up a little bit more, and you do it again, and you get back to, and then you get back to the main hall, and then it goes up some more. That feels very linear compared with Chapter 1 dungeon, which was you actually had to consider the layout of the dungeon and treat the whole area as one cohesive place. I think that's better. So likely what we're gonna do is... I don't know. Maybe the elevator can go up at the very beginning, but like... I don't know. We're not gonna work on the dungeon tonight. Tonight, we're going to work on a new special move. So I should bring up the battle system. So currently, we have but one special move in the game. And that's recovery. Which is this one. Which is a great move. Fun. That noise is a little too quiet. Now that I'm hearing it, compared with the other stuff that's going on, it's just not enough. That needs more. So I guess let's start with that. Recovery special. How does this work? Do we have a little bloop sound in here? Oh, no, it's part of the code, is it? audio. There it is. Chip good, chip good, chip good, chip error. So what you would want to do is put these in here like this. Make sure they're both set to sound effects. Bring them in here. And then instead of this, you do chipgood.play. And that's it. And this one is chip error. And like that's probably significantly better already. Why are those waves? Why in the world are those wave files instead of MP3s? That's worrying. Set polyphony to 3 on these so they can overlap a little bit. And let's try that again. No, they're just really quiet sounds. They do need to be brought up by quadruple even. So Al had a really good idea for another special attack mode. Let's see if this is any good. That's better. You can actually hear it now. Yeah, so the idea was like a Pong or Breakout style game. So what is that going to look like is the question. First off, do we even need the player on screen, or does it cover up everything? We're gonna try some things, you know? So right now, when we switch to special, this is our layout here. Which is fine. So it is the same basic idea here. So we could do something similar to this, where a big board pops up. Like the same basic idea, or maybe we sell the sizzle a little bit more and make it a little bit different. I like the idea that it's something big that kind of covers up the background in a way. That's fun. Personally, I think that's pretty fun. But how to do? So, caveats. This is effectively our Earth Trimmer stand-in. In Thousand Year Door. Oh, it's GQ. Click, 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 click. Hello, GQ. Hope you found the big lady. She like barely shows up in Galaxy 2. So I did a little bit of research on the card, and I will first off frame this with I don't know a whole lot about individual generations of video cards and such, but I was looking at other people who mentioned that specific card in various forum posts, and the overall the overarching theme I saw was a lot of people saying, "Oh, you can't play such and such game with that card. That's not going to be able to play such and such game." And a lot of the games mentioned were not particularly recent. They were older games. And I can't verify this because, again, video card specs are not my specialty. Gotcha. Okay. That makes me feel a little bit more confident in my answer. Like, I do remember the first time I actually started, like, getting separate video cards for my PC and being like, oh gosh, I have to spend $40 ooh, at the time, because I was a poor college student, I was like, oh, this is a big investment. I don't know, but I do want to play video game on the computer 64. And then I got it and was like, uh-oh, I've made a big mistake here. This is gonna set me back $40. Man, video cards used to be pretty cheap. I mean, I guess they still are if you're willing to go, entry-level budget kind of stuff. It is a big investment. It's like one DoorDash. All good. Hope whatever card you wind up with serves you well. Not just for this game, but for all games. There's some good games out there. But there's so many games out there that you can just play for free. People just make games and put them out there for free. None of the ones that I put out there for free require a video card. Well, Pinball Roll-Up. Let's not forget the classic ball rolling adventure. What a creative idea. 2060. That's probably a good number. That sounds like a good number for a video card. I'm assuming. I couldn't tell you what card I've got. It's in the About section on the stream, but the only way I found that was digging through old receipts in my inbox because I was filling out the information for when people asked, and I just don't know. Okay. Thousand Year Door. Second special move you get is Earth Tremor, and it's for Chapter 2, it's overpowered. It's basically this battle is over now, thank you, moving on. Oh, thank you so much. Earth Tremor is the same type of minigame as Spring Fling is in this, but instead of being just like 2 little bloop bloop, it's like 8. And when it finishes, you get another one right after it. I think it maybe starts at like 5 and then like slowly ramps up for each successive one. One fail and the minigame is over. So you're graded on how many successful bars you're able to complete. For each one that you complete, the damage of the attack goes up by 1, up to a maximum of 8. And the damage is unblockable, ignores defense, and hits every enemy on the field regardless of position. It is extremely powerful, considering that apart from bosses, nothing in Chapter 2 has 8 HP. So it mops the floor with everything. It's not a hard minigame either. Like, maybe you'll occasionally choke and miss one of them, but for the most part, yeah. Earth Tremor is a free 8 damage for everything. It is the Disc 1 nuke. Nothing survives it. Chapter 3, you actually occasionally need more than that. Really, the big limiting factor of it is it takes up your entire special bar. But with the nature of Thousand Year Door and how it just gives out star power for free every attack, it does not take long to fill that back up. Yeah. So we want to avoid that problem. We don't want it to be a nuke. Or if we... Actually, it wouldn't be too bad for it to be a nuke because we have something going for us, which is we do not fill up your special meter for free. You get 1 between trips to town. Like, you go to an inn, you can get it back. But you don't get it filled up on level up. You get it filled up from the from fish sticks, the fish mystics, and that's pretty much it. So we could make it still very powerful, and it would feel a little more. Ooh, when do I use this? Versus Thousand Year Door, it's like, if it's available, yeah, throw it out there. Sure, go for it. Whatever. Destroy everything. So yeah, I guess doing like a significant amount of damage to everything would not be bad. We have to decide Are we hitting everything? Are we hitting individual things? Like, here's some options. Here's some options for us. Wait, not this one. Let's do this one. So one option is we could have like a Plinko, not a Plinko game, like a Pong style game where you've got your paddle and you've got a ball that's bouncing around. Boom, boom, boom. And we could do that each enemy gets represented by some kind of, I don't know, thing on the board. And every time you hit that boom, then that's 1 extra damage for that enemy. So you could possibly focus a bit more, maybe? Like if you can boom, 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 boom. Like you could focus down one enemy while it's running slow, and then it ramps up fast, and you're like, okay, now I'm just hoping to chip out a little bit extra damage before I drop it. How do we control? We could make the paddle round and do like just do regular physics. So like if you hit it on this side, well, the ricochet is gonna go, it's gonna send it that way. I know that like standard breakout rules, it kind of does that anyway, but could do it better, I guess. How could we capture the image? I guess it wouldn't be too hard to capture the image of an enemy and then make that a texture. That's not terrible. Okay, yeah, maybe something like that. And then also you'd need walls. So we build basically almost like a, it's basically Breakout, isn't it? Now, do the enemy icons stay if you hit their max HP? Like, let's say the enemy has 4 HP. After you hit it 4 times, does it stay there? I'm gonna say yes, because that gives you something to avoid. It's like, okay, I've already maxed out that enemy. I want to avoid hitting them because I'm wasting time. The longer this goes on, the faster the ball gets. Let's do something like that. How do I stop it from just kind of like going really horizontal? Is that something you can stop realistically, or is it just like, sometimes that's gonna happen and then it's just gonna be chaotic and we just live with it? I'm okay with just living with chaos. Yeah, I think that's okay. I need to figure out if we can get a oval collision shape. If not, capsule is fine, I guess. It could just be a really big circle. We'll see, we'll see. Okay, I think that's the idea. Let's try building that. So we're gonna do kind of the same thing here, which is where you do like a little summon. Now that is handled by the actual move here. So it is, we push the enemies off to the side. We do a little summon here. Particles happen, we wait, camera zooms out. Then we start the animation of the thing actually falling down. And that's pretty much it. Okay, that's fairly straightforward. I think we can do that. So yeah, let's build Breakout, I guess, effectively. So how does this work? This is a sub viewport. Okay. We built this as a 2D mini game, and then we pasted it into the world. I don't want them all to look exactly like this, but they might look similar. Like, it could be the same base, but with, I don't know, palette swap, effectively. Basically a palette swap. How testable is this? How easy is this to test? Like, if I just load up Recovery Special on its own, does it immediately break? Or does it let me actually play it? It does immediately break. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. We'll build it out as a normal minigame, and then we'll fit it into the battle system, where it will no longer be able to be played in isolation. All right, so it'll be a 3D scene. 3D scene. What are we gonna call this one? Just call it Pong Special, Breakout Special, Pinball. It's not pinball. The closest is, I guess, Breakout. Arkanoid. And for this, we need a node 2D, which we will later capture in a thing. Scene manager needs to know, do not create a player on this scene while we're testing it. This is menus. No, it's not. Scenes, battle, action commands, breakout, special. Okay, yeah, let's copy some things from here. We got these little gears. And this paddle, the catcher. Okay, so it's gonna be the catcher, effectively. Okay, it does not need a collision area, magical collision area. Collision shape. Can we get away with, what do we have? There's capsule, there's circle. There's no, unless circle has some, no, circle is radius only. Dang. Okay. I guess we're gonna need to do like a custom polygon. Like this would be a good start. So let's do collision polygon, assuming that we can actually define the polygon shape. Looks like we can. Yeah, okay, that's, okay, we can work with that. So let's take this and do some, oh, why is this rotated? Who's rotated here? You're rotated. That's silly. And then you're rotated back the other way. Even sillier. Okay. So we're gonna try some silly stuff here. So the general plan is we're gonna round the top of this so that we can do some. All right, pull up the battle. Pull up the battle scene. Okay, so let's look at the existing special. So here's what I'm visualizing: is that instead of, oh gosh, I'm getting way ahead of myself in my thinking. I need to slow down and just take it a bit at a time. We're gonna have a rounded collision shape, and so whenever the ball hits it, hopefully it will just bounce off accordingly. Like optionally, we could do that. We could do that in code, but I'm not 100% convinced I could capture the collision and redirect everything correctly. We're gonna try the polygon shape. And the way I'm gonna trace it off of a. This is a silly way of doing it, isn't it? That is a silly way of doing it. So it's gonna be a rounded paddle, and that's just so that it's got a lot of different angles that it can mess with. So let's try this and see if this works out. Welcome in. I'm gonna try. It's Oik. Oik, perhaps? Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. How was your stream? Ooh, satisfactory. I still haven't played it, but I'm a big Factorio nerd, as you can tell. So I'm gonna, yeah, roulette. I love RNG. I'm a big Factorio nerd. So someday, when I get the opportunity, when I am not making a game for the next 4 years, I'm gonna play Satisfactory, and I'm gonna get really sucked into it. I'm a big fan of factory games. Yeah, that's what I'm always hearing. Okay, the closest thing I did for Satisfactory is the Create mod for Minecraft. Oh, good. Good morning. There was a really good mod for Minecraft called Create, and it's got lots of additional packs around it. And Linuxian. I've been off of Linux for a while. Not anything in particular, just like, yeah, that's a whole conversation there. Also a game developer, excellent. Any particular genres you enjoy building around, or frameworks? I'm working on. You're never gonna guess what my game is alluding to. You'll never. Oh, you like making game engines? I had so much fun making game engines. I never made a 3D one, but I did a lot of different 2D game engines. Here's the silly thing. I never reused a game engine. It was like every time I wanted to make a browser game, I would just make it completely from scratch, using vanilla JavaScript, which is decently capable for most things until you get to the optimization phase, and then you have to make some sacrifices. Engine code and assets. I get it. Personally, I love making the systems, sometimes more than I like making the content. So the game I'm making here is built around it's very in the style of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Not the new Paper Marios, the good Paper Marios. The battle system. It was so much fun to build out the whole idea of like, okay, how do you deal with these different things that can happen at the same time, but then the next step of the battle can't happen until all of those are done. And so I end up with like queues of queues, just so everything can work work all together, and like the menu systems and like dialogue, and like, okay, well now how do I get the dialogue to work in combat when the NPC is talking at you or something like that. I'm so with you. And that's why I'm focused in. This is going to be the one that we see all the way through, because any game I make, if it goes on for more than like a month, I'm over it. It's like I just want to. I've got a better idea. I'm going to make another game. Forget this one. This is old news. Forget that I said that this was my best idea ever. No, we're making a new one. Let's go. And then I just end up getting sucked back into Factorio anyway. So, whatever. But yeah, this is based on Paper Mario game. So we're going to be making a new special move. We've already got one, and somebody had a really good idea for another, so we're going to make that happen. This one's based on an old Chuck E. Cheese arcade game that I remember playing as a kid. So we're going to do something different. We're going to do something more like Breakout for the next one. And I'm gonna try something really dumb here. Make like a rounded paddle. How do we there we go. No? How do we where's my collision point? Thank you for the follow. All follows are anonymous. Game Design Bachelor. Oh, nice. I never got any like real game development learnings. I guess I've been making games on programmable systems since high school, when we got to use the TI-83 Plus graphing calculator. What a grand old time that was. All right, I was just making nodes not moments ago. What's going on here? Oh, I've somehow switched to measurement mode. Okay, well that's fixed, I think. But yeah, TI-83 Plus, powerful, fun little system to work with. And that's pretty much the start of my game development learnings. Okay, and then we'll just do. We don't really need a hitbox on the bottom of this, do we? We don't. There we go. Why is it blue? Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Why is it blue? That seems important. Maybe not. But gosh, man, it's fun stuff. Yeah. The things that are so common in games are typically common for a good reason. Although there's a hand that are common for bad reasons. But you run into a lot of ideas in multiple games because they work well. And it's just a matter of separating which ideas were in place because of technical limitations or budgeting concerns versus, no, this is purely just good for the players. And I think once you can get that figured out, you're pretty much golden. Another raid, welcome in! Patrick, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, everyone. How was your stream? What are you working on? Use ideas extracted as full-fledged. Yeah. No, I've got and here's some. Okay, so you can switch that. So you can take a small idea from an existing game and make a whole game around it, or you can take entire old existing games and make it a tiny feature in your game. Which that's kind of what I've done a few places in here, because I mean we've made a. This isn't quite Plinko, but it's a Plinko-esque game, and now I'm gonna make Breakout as an action command, and then we're gonna make. I made a Pipe Dream as a puzzle in one of the things. Good old puzzle game with asynchronous multiplayer elements. I've barely touched multiplayer in Godot. Multiplayer in general scares me a little bit. And I don't know why. I think it's just all the different cases of things you have to handle. I would really like to do a game using, what is the system called? Godot Steam? Yeah, Godot Steam, to handle lobbies and such. But there's so much stuff you have to manage of, okay, so you got to be able to join a lobby and just create a lobby from scratch. And, what if someone breaks out of the lobby? It's like, what should the game do if someone drops out of a lobby? And then, okay, what if the game is over and everyone goes back to the lobby? And what if someone drops out while the countdown is happening? And yeah, it's for my single player hyper focused brain, it's rough. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Unfortunately, the game I've got in mind is going to be synchronous, so no, before the multiplayer game. You know what? I used to be convinced, coming from like more of a functional programming background, I was convinced like, oh yeah, you have to build it from the get-go. It's not something you can just kind of kludge in. But holy cow, some of the stuff I've seen in the modding scene for a lot of modern games. Thank you for the follow. All follows are anonymous. Some of the stuff I've seen for modding in modern games is blowing my mind. The fact that people are managing to hammer in multiplayer modes for games that are definitely single player. Yeah, I don't know. I touched a little bit of Godot multiplayer 2 years ago, and I was pleasantly surprised by how easy it is to get a albeit basic, multiplayer system added into a game. So much of it now can be handled by the engine with, honestly, not a lot of extra work. Akin to just checkboxes of, say, this entity. Now it's got to be the way the engine is built is it's expecting a certain type of multiplayer game. Kind of the idea of each player has an avatar that they are in charge of. And as long as you kind of are in that, like, oh, well, yeah, like 60-70% of multiplayer is going to be like that. Then it's basically just you select that entity and you say, this one is managed by the other client. Yeah. If you're building it from the ground level up, you can do some really silly stuff. I've got, well, I won't get into future plans because that's too far off. I've got like 3 or 4 years left on this project before I get to entertain the idea of making a multiplayer game. So we've got multiplayer is good and cool, and it really changes how a game can be. That sounds like a nothing statement. It really changes, I guess, the longevity of a game. How much playtime you can get out of a game. I did a little bit of on-stream Twitch integration a couple weeks back, just as a little fun side bonus project, because I had a day off of work. And so I just spent like 6 hours fiddling around with that. Actually, it probably wasn't even that long. And yeah, that it turns out super easy. There's some great assets available for hooking into Twitch calls. I imagine so. No, you can do. I don't remember what the project I used was. Was it? It might have been in 4.3 or 4.4. Let me see what it was called. What was it based on? Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna open it. It was 4.4. I don't have 4.4 open right now. it was some sample project in the asset library, and I just downloaded that and then just ripped out the existing code and just plopped my own game into it. It worked fine. How are we gonna do this? Color rect. Ugh. Could I instead do? Dun, dun, dun. Absolutely. Thank you again for the raid, Oik. I appreciate that. So what we want is a polygon? Polygon 2D sounds good. Hang on, can I take this existing polygon and, no, you can't do that. Maybe that's a one-way only street. Maybe not even that. All right, how do we set points on this? Data. Here we go. Could I copy this vector? No, you cannot. Dang it. Really? Can't copy that into this? That feels like a thing I should be able to do. Oh well. Okay. Sure. Get these out of here so I can see this. And then just try and vaguely match the same points. It really doesn't have to be exact. Just get something pretty close to right. Well, I say it doesn't have to be exact, and here I am, like, hitting every vertex absolutely flawlessly. Incredible. Incredible. Boom. Okay. So let's take this and just treat it the exact same as this one. Boom. Duplicate. This is kind of a silly way of doing this, but we're gonna do it this way. Scale down. Yeah, it's the general idea. This one can be different. We can pull these points in a little bit just to give it a better outline. Okay, it's a little silly, but it matches now. There's our little object here that we're gonna be able to move around, and that's gonna be our paddle. It's gonna be our paddle. To bring everybody up to speed that's coming in our Paper Mario-like, we're adding a new special move. The existing special move is a healing move, and it's effectively kind of like Plinko with a little catcher at the bottom. Catch little icons, get health for each one you collect until you run out of balls to catch. That's it. Very straightforward. We're making a new special move that's going to be more Breakout inspired. And so for that, I'm going to need... Well, that's going to be weird. Is there a way to cache out a viewport texture? Maybe? Should I? Ooh. Okay, so the idea is like we'll capture the enemy image. So for now, let's do like just a placeholder, like enemy 1. It's gonna be a not a rigid body, static body 2D. There's no such thing as a static body. Yeah, there is. It's literally right there. And we can check for collision with that, right? Probably. Collision shape 2D. It's gonna be a circle. Make them all circles. Where did this go? Here. How did this one go all the way over there though? Because that. How big? How big? Circle shape, 50 pixels, 30 pixels. Uh-oh. Jivvy, did you know? Did you know? The color is not right. But there is, in fact, it's a blink and you'll miss it cameo. But we will make something a little bit more overt, for sure. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see. Let's rewind to the start of stream. Let's see here. In the theater, if you slow it down, where is he? It randomly positions. It randomly there. That's him. That's him right there. Everyone gets randomly positioned in the theater. Lower left. Lower left there. Oh, my mouse doesn't get captured. That's cool of it. Capture cursor. There he is. He's even doing the laughing animation. Wait, he is in green. Okay, he definitely just needs to be more apparent. 50K, well spent. It's going in somewhere. And he'll still also be in the theater. Right. Polygon, 2D. Oh wait, no, I don't want a polygon. I just want. What are the other options here for a node under a node TV? What else we got? I guess it could just be a sprite because I do have a circle texture I can use. How am I busy? If you can imagine. But that's to be expected, I suppose. No, it's been good. It's been good. Enemy goes here, and then we need a ball. Not a character body. It's going to be a rigid body 2D. Ball. Just make another sprite, except with a different color, I guess. We'll figure out the coloring, exact coloring. Incredible. Incredible. Needs a collision shape. Boom, easy. Oh, I see. Move the ball. Move this whole thing down here, and then I should be able to play it, but nothing will happen. Well, it'll probably hit and roll off, hopefully. That's good. That's a good start. Now everything needs to be extremely bouncy. Physics material. New material, bounce 100%. No friction for the ball. Yeah, we got a whole week of, I don't feel like that was bouncy enough. Collision. Collision. I guess this doesn't get a property like that. If I do this, how high up does it bounce? We got a whole week off for Thanksgiving. Not me, my child. Now look there. You can just see it. Let me turn it on to slow-mo. Oh, if I turn it on to slow-mo, it doesn't happen as much. How about if I turn it on to speedy? Look at that. You can see that it is intercepting a significant amount. That's got to be like the interpolation speed or something. Solver. Continuous. What is this? Continuous collision detection. Tries to predict where a moving body will collide instead of moving it and correcting. It is slower but more precise and okay, that's the one we want. Let's try turning that on while the game is running and see if we get amazing results. Looks to be about the same. Looks to be pretty much the same. Do I need to do something on this static body over here or something? I don't know what you're wanting me to do here. Physics interpolation. What is physics interpolate? Let's try messing with that. On. No, I thought more things would like more settings would appear when I did that. Oh, nice. No one's gonna care but me. But I don't like the pink and the black should not overlap for that one frame there that they are. Cast shape. Most precise. It says it's the most precise. Custom. Nope. Not that. Huh. Okay, well, I guess that's just what we're gonna live with. All right. We want this to move. We want no gravity also, now that I think about it. We want walls. That's gonna be pretty easy. That's gonna be a static body, not 3D. Static body 2D. Collision shape 2D, which is a rectangle. And a color rectangle is fine. Okay, the shape is going to be 100 by 1000. It's going to be 50 by 1000. Sure. That's fine for now. We'll make it prettier later. We're just gonna try and get through this today. All right. Size 50 by 1000. Just like that. Okay, we're gonna duplicate it twice. Oh, no, once. We're gonna rotate by 90 degrees. That's gonna be the top. top. Thank you for the follow. All follows are anonymous. Welcome in. I know you. I know you. All right. So we're gonna duplicate this wall. Put it on the other side. There we go. There's our zone of game. An incredible zone of game has appeared. We'll need an area 2D to represent the. We're gonna make sure all these are bouncy. There'll be an area 2D to represent the out of bounds. Like, when does the game end? Although it will also end after I don't know, I guess a certain maximum of damage is received. Just like Earth Tremor, this will cap out. Here, collision shape. 2D. Rectangle. Just make sure it covers a wide enough area. Looks good. And we're gonna need a script. Now the trick is, this is eventually gonna be in a viewport. So let's add a script to the 2D segment individually. And then we can work on the rest after that. So we need the catcher to control the movement of that. Technically, I guess we need the area to indicate when it's done, but we're not going to do that right now. In the physics process specifically, catcher dot move and slide. If input dot is action pressed left, then move it to the left. Let's see here. Move speed equals, I don't know, 100 units per second, let's go with. Move speed times delta times -1. And that's it. If it's right, then positive. And that's it. Then move and slide. And then we need the boundaries. X limit. Which is going to be how far this thing can move before we have a problem. Which is going to be about here. Let's say 335. Which means we're probably going to need to speed up our move speed. Let's go 150. If catcher dot position dot x is greater than our x limit, then actually no, let's do if the absolute value is greater, so we can handle both cases at once, then set catcher dot velocity to 0, but then always clamp. To negative x limit, positive x limit. All right, so that should let us move around. We want now to make sure we disable gravity on the ball. Gravity, no. Gravity, no. Next up, we need an interaction here for this body entered. If the ball enters this zone, then game is over. But that would be kind of dull. So instead, move it up 300 if that happens. All right, let's see if this works. Oh, nope. Immediate failure. Velocity. I just tried to... Oh, yes, that should be velocity.x. Makes more sense. Makes more sense. Immediate failure. Love it. It's moving. Okay, it needs... I didn't realize this. If you're not pushing anything, then set it to 0. Why so slow? Really? 150 times delta. You don't do times delta for speed. You do that for position. That was silly. Okay, that's better. Also, the ball doesn't have any initial velocity. And it needs that. Let's see. Vector 2. 1, 1. So that's odd. Why are these the way they are? What's going on there? Walls, static body. Position. Oh, if I reset it, it does go back where it should. What is going on here? These aren't being scaled in any weird way, right? Oh, that looks fine. That looks fine. So why is the ball not moving? The ball is a rigid body. Let's take a look. Ball. Linear velocity is slowing down. It must have some kind of dampening, right? Is that what's happening? Go back to local ball. Solver. Damp. Damp is 0. Oh, replace. Okay, that might help. Still don't understand why the walls are... Nope, okay. It's moving, but like barely. Where's its velocity listed here? Constant force, 0. Linear velocity, 1 pixel per second. Oh, because that's what I actually set it to. That it's like 100. Okay. Because 1 unit per... A unit is much smaller in 2D. Okay. Well, there we go. Yeah, that's doing what I want. Just very slowly. We're gonna speed it up as it proceeds. Why in the world are these walls... Yeah, they are actually gone there. Why? Position should be Y0. Go here. Position is Y300. Who set it to 300? Did I do that? Yes, I did. Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. Because it's, because it is overlapping. Okay, well, yeah, I didn't want the walls to interact with that. And rather than change the collision layer, I'm just going to make it not overlap. Let's speed this up. Let's speed the move speed of the paddle up. We're gonna tweak some values and just make it fun before we make it pretty. See, yeah, that's gonna be tricky to deal with. Okay, bounciness is pretty good. Love it, love it. I think we could be a little bit faster, right? I think that would be good. Oh, well, Yeah, I think when everything is moving. Oh, see, yeah, you can get called out pretty easily. You can get called out pretty easily. Okay, so that's not. Okay, that's our game over right here. Okay. So the enemies will be positioned somewhere in this zone. Not fully randomized. Maybe a little randomized. I don't want them to be... How do we want to position the enemy? So one option is that we effectively have a grid. Well, I guess it's just one row of squares since it's just one row. We have a set grid, and then we randomly pick a point within each square. And the result is, it's like, okay, it's like a semi-random array, but we never wind up with a point with like 3 of them clumped up next to each other or overlap or anything like that. That's one option, and honestly, pretty good option. Pretty good option. Just saying, it's pretty good. Maybe we just do that. Because it works. I mean, why not? Next question is, how do we get picture of the sprite? That's particularly tricky. Because it's very inconsistent how tall the different enemies are. And as a result, the position of their head is always somewhere new. Where's it going to be this time? That is... I do not want to have a million pictures of enemies. Like, I don't want to have to store in the game a picture of every enemy, because that means every time I want to make a new enemy, I have to do this one extra thing that I didn't used to have to do, and that's multiplicatively bad. That ramps up pretty quickly. So options. We do some kind of shenanigans with the viewport to capture the enemy and just kind of hope that the enemy is in frame. And then if it becomes a recurring issue where enemies are out of frame, then we do some kind of offset property that we can set to define where the enemy's face is. Option 2, we just have a generic enemy picture, and it's not a picture of any specific enemy. It's just a wiggly mouth face, like we just have the ball representing the enemy, and then we just have a like a, and then you just smack that. So that's one option. Or even a star. You know what? We have an excellent star that we could use for our enemy. Instead of circle, consider icons. But without the modulation and with a region enabled. Yeah, look at these. That's perfect. And then we just need to scale it up properly. Sure. I love it. I love it. And then we can like make it bounce and make a little pinball noise. Oh, and I already screwed up. Yeah. Start the move speed a little bit faster for the paddle. And the ball speed, the ball should start at the paddle, like already bouncing up diagonally or something. So let's mark on the paddle a position called ball start. That's gonna be like right here. And then like while it's being prepared, ball dot global position equals ball start dot global position. And then we will kick it off with a random angle between 45 and negative 45 from north. Times, let's say 200 total. So for that, we want vector 2 dot up times maybe 200 rotated rand f. Is there a rand between rand f range? Negative 45 to 45 degrees to radians. I think that works. Let's see how that one is. All right, and so I start out pretty speedy and in control. These will be a little bit higher, I think, to really... I think there should be a little bit of space above the ball, maybe. Now we've got some control over changing the angle by just the curvature of the paddle. That's very intentional. And we'll add like a little bow, 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 like a little chromatic climb of orchestra hit sound every time you manage to hit the thing. And then also we're going to say that every frame ball.linear velocity equals ball.linear velocity dot normalized, which reduces it to instead of 200 to 1. Timer. Just gonna increase by delta. There's gotta be a better way to do that, because that's gotta accumulate floating point issues, doesn't it? It does. I remember that. That was a bug that somebody mentioned. The in-game timer is using accumulated delta time. I need to use an actual timer, don't I? Ugh. All right, I'll use a timer. I don't want to. Wait, how do you work a timer? Give me the documentation on this. A countdown timer. I don't want it to count down. Godot count up timer. Let's see here. Because I think there's something screwy about floating point errors if I'm just accumulating deltas. Maybe not on a small scale, but on the order of like the game scale. Oh yeah, using the internal get ticks. But then that doesn't respect pause and all this other stuff, and I don't know. Okay, for another time. So we'll just accumulate time here. So we're gonna tally up our timer. We're gonna multiply by 200, and then we're also going to ramp up by our timer value as like a little scale up. So this is going to start at 1, and it will double by the time it reaches 15 seconds. I can see a little bit of speed picking up here. This is good. And there's no limit on that either. Oh, nice, the double. Oh yeah, it's getting real fast. I think this is significantly more interesting than Earth Tremor. Maybe just because it's new. Like it's something kind of new. It's like, oh, this is an interesting thing here. But yeah. Base ball speed equals 200. Get rid of this magic number. Ball speed double time. How many seconds per double, triple, etc. 15 is good. Okay, that seems all right. I think that's fine. Maybe when it hits one of these, it actually like pops like a bumper on a pinball table. How do we feel about that? I feel pretty good about that. For that, we need to have some kind of collision zone detected where we can update the sprite. Enemy sprite. So how do we do that? If we're duplicating the enemy object, then it would duplicate any attached script class as well. So we could have this kind of handle itself. Do we go with an area? Area is a little bit scarier because we can just glance by it and it might not trigger it if the physics tick is weird. Really, we should be listening for the collision and then find the appropriate object. So, ball has collision object, rigid body. There was something we could turn on here. No, not this. Solver, contact monitor. Max contacts reported. I mean, I think one contact is enough. It's not going to be hitting more than one thing per frame. So does that give it... Well, what's that signal? What is the signal it gets then? Emits signals when it collides with another body. Great. The rigid... Oh, wait. Oh, because this inherits... No, because ball is a rigid body. Okay, so what is the colliding thing it reports then? It will emit signals when it collides. Where do I connect that? Where's the signal? Where's the signal I'm supposed to be listening for, huh? Oh, does it just report to get colliding bodies? Not immediate after moving objects. Updated once per frame before the physics step. Consider using signals instead. That's what I thought we were doing. Where are the signals? Where are your signals? Okay. Body entered. Body... Nope, it's not listed here. I mean, maybe I can just figure it out. Ball dot. Where are our signals? Body entered. Yep. Sleeping state. Yep, saw that one. Mouse entered. No. Draw signal. Why does there need to be a draw signal? That's interesting. Rectangle change. No. Visibility change. No. Editor description change. Nope, not listening for that. Somewhere. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Oh, we're getting down deep here. Dang it. Okay. Rigid body 2D. Godot. Detect collision. Uh-huh. Yep, this guy... Body entered, apparently. That's surprising. But okay. Oh yeah, if I'd read the documentation for that specific signal, then yes, I would have seen that. Print body. Not gonna read the documentation for every signal. Bonk. Okay, so that would have been this one. Bonk. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Okay. Pause. Yeah, okay. So it gets the static body object itself. Great. How do I tell if that is in the enemies node? Okay, easy. Just make it the parent object itself. Enemies container. And we can check by, I mean, one thing is we could do like groups and like actually do it the right way. But we're not doing that. What are we doing? Get node, enemy sprite. Do a little tween. Give it a little tween, perhaps? Oh, an animation player. An animation player makes sense, doesn't it? Each one of these can have its own little animation player, and it goes boing. Let's call the animation boing. And it'll just do a really quick boing. Boing. Sharper. Boing. More. Maybe it needs to be more drastic. Yes. That works. Boing, 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 boing. Okay. And we can attach a sound effect to that. Okay, that's gonna be special actually, because we're gonna ramp the pitch up for every successive hit. So we're gonna have animation player, play, boing. All right. Vacuum processor. Oh, see, it worked. Perfect, great. And it missed that time. Oh, boing. Perfect. Love it. And it gets faster and faster. Ooh, and you suck. No, it'll be higher up, so you'll have a lot more reaction time. Let's work on positioning these. That seems to be the next thing we should do. Enemies is going to have a base position of here-ish. Get this ball out of here. Get this ball out of my face. Wait, why is the ball... Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right. Enemies container will be our base zone. How many enemies are there? How many enemies are there? I think maximum in any battle, I could foresee 5, maybe 6. 6 feels like a real weird case, but let's work around that. So let's position enemies. Position, or no, setup, because this is going to also include actually generating the nodes as well. Enemy 1. Enemy count is going to be stuffed in here somehow. Let's say 4. We'll stuff it in through some other script. I guess we'll go left to right. So if you have 1 enemy, you start right in the middle. If you have 2 enemies, Let's see. Distance between enemies. Let's say 200 for now. We may ramp that up. I'm ramping it up. 300. 250. Final offer. Yeah, for every enemy past the first one, we move over half of that distance to the left. So it's enemy count -1 divided by 2 times distance between enemies. That's our X start. For I in range enemy count. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. And then we'll just get rid of enemy 1. I guess we need to keep track of our enemies as well that we create. Our little enemy markers. So we're going to take our initial enemy, our placeholder. We're going to duplicate that. We're going to add it to the scene. Wait, enemies container. Add child enemy. We're going to position it. X start plus I times distance between enemies. Add it to our list for later use. That's it. And then once all of this is done, get rid of our placeholder. Maybe we move the position of each enemy a little bit just to add a little bit of variety in the minigame. Oh, well, that didn't work. There were supposed to be 4 enemies. We add child enemy. Let me look at the local layout here. No, it's not actually adding them to... I need to actually call that function I made. Better? Not better. What positions do we get here? 375, 625, 875, 1125. Enemy count divided by 2. Oh, negative. That needs to be negative. So we started way too far to the right. Hi, day. Okay, this is fine-ish. The fact that it's 4 of them is not great. It means that these need to be much closer together. Okay, that's workable. Now, there is a little caveat here in that in TTYD, Earth Tremor, you're dealing 8 damage to every enemy. In this, I feel like 8 damage per enemy is a lot harder. Speed up the paddle, maybe? Gives you a little bit more of a chance. Overall, how would this look positioned on here. That's about the right height for this kind of mini game. Like if we fit this into the existing box, it's like, yeah, that's right at the right size for what we would be looking at. This is significantly harder. How? All right, let's... It basically makes it so that it is harder for more enemies, which is not great. Now, what if it was just... Okay, what if it was... You don't have one per enemy. What if it's something like this, and every time you hit any of these, that adds to the total damage you deal to all enemies? So it's not one per enemy. We're dealing X damage to everything. And also each of these can only be used a certain number of times before it is done. I like that better, I think. I do like that better. Okay, what if it was breakout style and I just give you like 9 enemies, and then you just, every time you hit one, it pops, and that adds 1 to the total damage accrued, and we keep going until we either hit them all or you missed, but it keeps speeding up infinitely. Ooh, infinitely is scary, isn't it? There does need to be a limit. There does need to be a limit, or else I could see it clipping through the hitbox and going off into space and never coming back. And that would be bad. So let's clamp this. Bar ball speed ratio is this. And we clamp it. Minimum 1, maximum quintuple speed. I think that works. Actually, let's start it at 0. So the initial speed stays in place for 5. No. Yes, but then ramp this down. No, 10 seconds is a long time to go without any speed up. We'll let it start at 1 and go up. Okay. This is good. So let's do like this. Yes, yes, yes. Five, 4. We're gonna do an array of row sizes. For row size in row sizes, do this whole thing. And then at the end of it, y plus equals 100. Thank you for the follow. All follows are anonymous. Okay, let's try this. Does this set me up with 9 of these guys? A row of 5 and a row of 4. Close. I forgot that we also want to position Y. Okay, Better. Yep, that's cool. That's cool. And then what we're going to do is make it so that every time you hit one of these, it disappears. That goes really fast, though, right? Should we make it like a 3 chances thing, and you have to hit each one like 3 times? Because otherwise, I feel like this minigame is going to end really quick. How long does the recovery special last? Let's find that out and kind of build it around that. Because these should be... You use these once per... rest, once per long rest, to borrow a D&D phrase. So let's actually time this out. And I'm gonna do it now. I'm watching a timer on the stream manager. Okay, so we got 2 seconds to load up. Also, I need to consider these having possibly levels or like being upgradable as the game progresses so that they don't lose their efficacy. And done. Is that like 20 seconds? Let me do one more and we'll average it out. So it's about 2 second ramp up time. I'm gonna wait until the top of the minute. 5, 6. That's good. Okay, I'm a little bit early, but it's fine. Oh no. Okay. Okay, that was about 17 or 18 seconds. Versus breakout special. 6. Okay. 2, 3, 4. A lot. Okay, I mean, maybe this is all right. Maybe this is all right. One failure feels a little bit harsh because it can happen so fast. But I think it's gonna work. I think that's gonna be fine. Okay. A change on entered. We're gonna make the little animation play, but also the collision shape, no, the static body, collision mask set to 0 so that it no longer collides with anything. And then call method, just straight up delete at the end of the function. So let's give it a little bit more breathing room here. So it's going to boink. It's going to boink and then like delete itself. So I kind of want it to either fade out quickly or something. Let's go with fade out. Let's see if this is fast enough. Boop. I think we go faster. Boom. Yeah, that'll work. And then delete at the 1 second mark. All right, so this will change things quite a bit. Oh wait, did he still bounce? I could have sworn. Do they still exist? No, that one's gone. I think it bounced on that as it was fading out. Come on, come on, come on. This puts a little bit of pressure to get the perfect 9 here. Because it keeps getting faster and faster. Oh, and then you can't keep up with it. All right. I think that's good. I think that's good. There's a genuine chance of not getting a perfect block of damage. That said, this should be enough damage for Chapter 2 pretty handily. Because I think the strongest enemy is going to have, like, what, 4 or 5 health? What's our enemy directory look like here? If these guys have 3, that's not going to be anything to worry about. Well, but then again, keep in mind this is not 1-to-1 with Earth Tremor from Thousand Year Door, because you don't recover your special meter nearly as frequently. Like this is an actual resource to think about when to properly use. That said, keep using that. I need to consider this for bosses, and mid bosses for that matter. Very commonly, with a boss fight, you might start with like a bunch of minions up in front to kind of soak up the initial couple of attacks. If all the minions have less than 9 HP, we don't want the player just wiping them out in one move and proceeding with a very cakewalk fight. We got to make sure that enemies that are going to use minions actually summon the minions regularly, not just one and done. Like, that needs to be a move they can use, is resummon minions. Okay. Good talk, everybody. Let's make these walls a little bit nicer now. In Recovery Special, what was the size of these? Oh wait, no. The catcher walls were kind of a special case, weren't they? They were in fact 25 150. And then 19 144. So 3 pixel border. 3 pixel border. All right, we can do that. Actually, now that I think about it, these don't need to be visible at all, because they're going to be kind of the border of the whole thing. The ball is the only thing we really need to pay any mind to. And I think we can do something similar to what we did with the enemy sprite. Ball sprite. Just give it a different one of these. But which one? Which one? Tennis ball? Rainbow gear? No. Hard to tell. Let's use just good old red here. That's a fine one to use. That'll work. Okay, breakout special. I still didn't see if the collision actually took, and I don't think it did. What did we do here? We set up collision mask. But no, it's collision layer that I meant to set. Collision layer needs to change to 0 at that point. so that it no longer has collision. Okay, now I think we can start to move into the 3D side of this, which is, I think I am in fact going to just duplicate this whole thing. Which is not going to be too bad. Does that mean that this becomes the theme of this big gear board? If so, I guess that's okay. As long as I... Okay, yes, yes. Board container. Sprite 3D, texture is a sub viewport, viewport path. Now we need a viewport. And we're gonna put our breakout object in there, which means we can no longer see it in 2D. We can no longer interact with it in 2D at all. That's not what it looks like. New viewport texture. Use this one. Okay. That's a start. Sub viewport here was 1300, 800. Let's use that as our guide. Okay, that's something. We can scale that quite a bit. Okay, so first of all, of note, is that the whole thing is there. Go a little bit further. A little bit less far. A little bit less far. 460? Okay, so 450 seems to be right. And this can go 500, 450, 510. Okay, 500 is correct. Okay, now we change the sub viewport size to clip it to the right scale here. Guess it doesn't matter if that happens, if it goes over the edge. Transparent background, please. And then that won't actually appear once we really get this going. And now we can change the size. Let's rename this sub viewport sprite. Yeah, we can scale this up pretty good to fill the available area. Don't know exactly where this needs to exist. I guess like right there. Let's check our screenshots we've got here. A little lower actually. Just to line up with like there. Ooh, that'd be low. That can't be quite right, can it? Like right there? No, I think that is right. Wow. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's run it in 3D now, I guess. See if this looks okay. Can't see anything. There's no camera. There's no camera. Makes sense. Okay, what are we missing here? Sound effects can be added. Tallies, I forgot about those. Where we actually show your counter of how you're doing. Oh, Small! Welcome in. We're making Breakout. This is not Breakout. but we're making it. Board animation vibrate. Screen enter. Shake camera. Vibrate controller. I guess we do need to keep that. Including this vibration script. Decor. Oh, that was our test. That can be removed completely. There's no reason for that to exist here. That was probably just eating up some resources. Couldn't see it, but it was there. Board animation. Add. Does that work still? Board container. Yep. Okay. Good. Great. Love it. It is going to be the next special move. This is going to be the Earth Trimmer analog. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Trust me. Trust me. So we need a script for this. Breakout special. So we've got 2 scripts for it. One to actually handle the 2D control segment. And then one to handle the overarching animation process and all that. Let's see if we can get this in place by the end of the night. Get this out of here so I can actually see. Moves. So it's going to be very similar to Special Recovery. But it is instead going to be Special Breakout. What are we going to call it? Ooh. Okay. So Recovery as a name was chosen to be something in the Venn diagram of like, okay, it is a recovery move, but also that's like a computer thing, you know, go into recovery mode. This one is a damaging move. It's breakout. You're smacking things with the paddle. We'll come up with it with a great name. Description. Target. We got all grounded enemy. Is there? Tennis ball. Tennis ball. No, that's a use. So it doesn't get a target, I guess. Bullfrog. Bullfrog, target. It's gotta be an example. Enemy team. That's the one. That's what I was looking for. Hits the whole enemy team with breakout special. And that's in the breakout special thing. I assume that's good. Okay, particles, you do that. It's the same summon. And then you start the action command. And then who knows what happens here. Okay, so that should at least allow us to run it. Next up, we need battle menu. Because I think that's where we set up our special moves. player specials menu. Yep, right now it is hard-coded as just the one special breakout. Okay, I'm not expecting this to do anything. In fact, I'm expecting this to fail if I even try it. Because it doesn't have any code here. And that's kind of a big deal, huh? We do need this for our ready. We need to add the UI hints about the controls. Process. Direction is fine. See, this also handles all the catcher stuff, so this isn't necessary. Actual timer is fine. So I guess we don't really need a processing yet. I guess we do need this, though. And we need this. Cool. All right, does that work? Can I use this now? I mean, it's not going to do anything. Name. Did I? How did I do that? Why is it yellow? Did I do that? Did I make these modulate incrementally in this menu? Oh. Technically, the action is still up. Because that was the end of the move. But there we go. And each one of these will be worth 1 damage to all enemies. And it keeps going faster and faster. Okay, so we need to detect when you're out of bounds. We need to detect when you are out of things to hit as well. But hey, we got the basic. That's looking good. That's looking good. Also, it doesn't have any sound effects, and I know exactly what I want the sound effect to be. Orchestra hit. Maybe orchestra hit 2. Yeah, feeling spicy. Orchestra hit 2. 2. All right. Dabble audio, sound effects. Wait, what? What? That's a scary thing to see. Parentheses 1 appeared next to orchestra hit 2. Really? So are you telling me? Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, well, that one doesn't sound nearly as good, so that's fine. Okay. Sound effects. Pull it in. Oh yeah, it's a tone. Pull it in here as a sound effect. So here's the silly thing we're gonna do with it is every time it plays, we're gonna increment the pitch scale. And that means I need to look at the. It's we need to do it logarithmically, exponentially. I don't remember. Here we go. This one right here. POW 2.0 half step shift. Let's have hit count equals 0. Plus equals 1. And then we'll shift it up by that. Boom, easy. That's cool and interesting and fun. Is done. Well, that happens here. And that happens if all enemies have been hit. Hit count. If hit count equals enemies.size is done equals true. And now our special move can kind of watch for that case, which means that the breakout special needs to actually monitor the 2D code here. And also we need to scale up the we have to include a little label off to the side, similar to what we do here. So let's take tallies over. So we're gonna take a lot from our existing setup. So let's see, what kind of icon do we use here then? Some kind of damage icon. It could be this one right here. That looks good to me. Yep. Call it damage. We don't need to include this. We don't need to include this. That's the entirety of it right there. The labels are gonna be updated for. Oh, that's how we did drop shadow's got to be built in. If I just went and looked for it, why did I do it this way? Oh, to give it like the pseudo 3D effect. I see why I was doing that. So let's take these. In here. A and B, sure. Equals string of breakout 2D dot hit count is what we said, right? Hit count. So update those, and then if breakout 2D dot is done, then we can be done. How did recovery special do this? When it was done, it would. Okay, here we go. It set up a result. Yep, result is what we can use to lock the move as being active. Oh, we don't actually need a timer. In that sense. Recovery special. Timer. We have dropped all coins. play a little tune. Clear the hints. Here we go. Do the things. Timer plus equals delta. End time. What's end time? Half a second after it's done. Okay. If timer exceeds half a second, then set our result as done. We do need our tally animation here. Icon slide is autoplay. Great, great. Tally animation. Get the little tally counter out of there. And then if timer is greater than 5.5, then get out of here. We're done. Okay, good. Battle moves next. Let's get this fixed up. This stuff right here. Don't need this. Do need this. This is where we actually damage the enemy, right? We're waiting on the result. The result should be... Ooh. The result should be the hit count. So battle moves. Wait, how does this work? Does it just wait for a value other than -1? Or does it wait for a value greater than, yeah, as long as it's not -1. That's our sentinel value. So we're just gonna say, hey, set it equal to the hit count. That's gonna be 0 or more. So we can look for the result, and that's the damage that we're gonna do, is result. Whatever that is. We don't need this. If result is greater than 0, then append actions, which is Q, Q hurt actions multiple. To the targets. All targets. Source. Technically the player. Amount. Result. Piercing. True. Unblockable. True. Flat damage. True. Okay. Does that do it all? Are we good? Oh, we need the enemies to get in position before we trigger the damage. Nice. Oh, oh, it's going fast. Predict, predict, predict. Oh. Oh no. Oh well, that's got to be a hit, right? No chance of anything else. I should let it go higher. Okay, that worked, but I need it to wait longer. I need them to be able to slide back into position first. That was cool. That was fun. That actually worked great. Maybe some kind of better effect on the enemies. Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, I think we could ramp the speed up on this a little bit more. Okay, give him like a little bit longer to get in. Or actually, better yet, get him out of here faster? Or get him in here faster? So we don't have to wait as long. Double up that speed. Get him over here. Yeah, if you just get a kind of an unlucky ricochet, you could lose out on a lot of damage here. The speed is purely based on how long the minigame has been running. Nope. Oh, that's good. That's quite satisfying. Okay. That's pretty good. Now, here's my question. In the battle menu, the recovery stuff, how is it? Oh yeah, we're just shifting the hue of each one. Each one goes an 1/8 around the color wheel, which would be perfect if we have 8 special moves, which that's probably accurate. We'll probably wind up with 8 special moves, if I can think of that many. Okay, great. Honestly, great. That came together. A name and a description. Let's see here. Guide the ball into the pins to rack up damage on all enemies. Perfect. What is it called? Lemmings. Well, I think the naming of this is going to be pretty easy compared to... hey, we got a whole move from idea to complete. One stream. Not bad. Not bad at all. A lot of other stuff has been happening off stream. I've been making pretty steady progress. That's going to stop for the weekend. Next off-stream time, I'm really going to have to work on this. It's going to be Tuesday. But overall, I feel like I'm making good headway on Chapter 2. Just getting the level geometries straightened up. I got a lot of areas. I got a cool little river crossing zone for after you get Leon in your party. I kind of want to do something a little bit different with his field move, but I'm not sure what. As it stands, it's a little dull. But I don't know what else we could do with it. So I just got to figure out our options. Because right now it is pretty much a hook shot, which is fine. So it's like right now all you can do is cross specific gaps or grab items from afar. which it's fine. It's fine. Maybe if you could just like, no. No, I don't know. Don't know. A little bit of the problem I'm running into is that with as close as the camera is, you can't really see particularly far. Like the default zoom of the camera means that the farthest out edge you can see is pretty much the limit of the move, and it's not very far. It's more than you can jump, but it's a little bit awkward to use that way. So we'll come up with something, but it may be fine as it is. Oh, I think we should go see Germ Dove. We should go see Germ Dove doing the Phasmophobia. Community night. I'm not going to play. But we can watch. And then I will be back streaming Sunday. More of this. This was good because this was a thing we needed for Chapter 2. It's good to have that out of the way. I think the next big thing we're gonna need to do is the mid-boss and the boss. Both of those are pretty big things. One of them at least has been drawn and has basic animations, but we'll need a lot more, and we got to plan out moves and such. So it might be a artsy drawing, animating kind of stream. Those are fun in their own way as well. Definitely more interesting to watch than just programming, but at least we got a good move out of this. It works and everything. Oh, I want to change these colors. I'll do that off stream. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.